beautiful souls. How are you doing today? So welcome back to my channel, Breathe and Balance. My name is Chathuri Jayasooriya. I'm a psycho-spiritual practitioner. So today we are going to talk about something related to, the series of discourses I've been having on speaking our truth, right? So you remember how in the last episode we were talking about how to express one's truth, and I gave these 4 steps. And the last one was about expressing one's truth, right? So where I mentioned, if you recall, that we need to express our truth with clarity, confidence, and compassion, right? And what I feel is the last component of compassion is really, really important. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. Speaking with compassion, why it's important and how we can do that, right? I would like to explore this a little bit through one teaching of Lord Buddha, where he speaks of 3 gates of mindful speech. Right? He talks about 3 gates that we need to walk through when we express ourselves or when we speak to somebody. So the first one is it true? The second one is it necessary? And the third gate is it kind? Okay, so let's delve a little bit into each of these 3 gates, right? So the first one is truth, the gate of truth. This simply means that whatever we want to express or share with the other person needs to be true to the best of our awareness. Now, why am I saying to the best of my awareness? Because as we were talking early in the previous videos, truth is not very straightforward all the time. It's complex and it's multidimensional. There's the subjective truth, collective truth, the ultimate truth, all these, truths of the here and the now. So we are navigating through all these as human beings, right? But here it simply means that what we share to the best of our awareness is correct, factual, and we are not consciously lying or deliberately telling an untruth or trying to deceive somebody, and that we are not exaggerating or hiding the truth or lying, basically. And when I say lie, there are so many different kinds of lies as well, from blatant lies to white lies. And I think we are all guilty of, at least a white lie here and there, right? Just to take a very simple example from our day-to-day lives, let's say your friend comes wearing a bright pink or yellow or whatever color a dress, and you feel it looks horrible on her, right? But would you ever share that, rather when the friend asks, how do I look? And most of us are likely to say, oh, you look fantastic, you look beautiful, just to please her. Of course, we are not then sharing our truth of what we actually perceive and feel, but, we are just trying to please, our friend. So probably the motivation would be like, I don't want to hurt her feelings, right? And here, let's pause for a while and ask ourselves, why am I actually lying, whatever the intention might be, But here, I think an inquiry into the intention and motivation would actually reveal a lot about our own needs. I mean, we may feel, okay, I'm lying to make her feel better or because I don't want to hurt her feelings. But then if I inquire, why don't I really want to hurt her feelings? Well, yeah, out of kindness, compassion as well. But there could be also a fear, okay, if I hurt her feelings, I might lose the friendship. I might hurt the friendship and I might lose the friend, so on and so forth. Of course, we are not doing this very consciously. We might be responding quite, automatically, through our programming and all that. But then, what happens is habit becomes our character, right? And character becomes our destiny. And these small, small lies can then, unbeknownst to us, can turn into even, bigger lies that can cause a lot of harm and damage. But the invitation here is to really look into why am I motivated to share an untruth or a falsehood, or even exaggerate or distort the truth in some way, shape, or form, consciously, especially if I'm doing it consciously. And I say or emphasize this here because according to neuro-linguistic programming, we learn about 3 different filters that all of us human beings use, known as deletion, distortion, and generalization, right? That's, our programming, basically. All of us are subject to these filters whenever we form a particular perception of the world, and our own truths. We use these filters, quite unconsciously, of course, but in our journey of awakening and expanding our consciousness, we become more and more conscious, especially when we are being or learning to become more mindful. We catch ourselves, in the process, progressively, of course, but then we are all subject to these filters. But leaving that aside, this is about consciously creating a falsehood, or sharing a falsehood or an untruth with someone. And from my perspective, the intentions are usually not very wholesome, right? I mean, even in the previous example that I gave, we might superficially think, okay, this is to prevent somebody from getting hurt. We are protecting that person from being hurt. But ultimately, are we really, So if we are to inquire as to what motivates me or somebody to lie in any way, shape, or form, that means the truth, according to us, is not good enough, right? So why is that truth not good enough? And then why are we motivated in that case to share an untruth, right? If we are not comfortable with the truth, why are we not comfortable? And then what is the motivation for us to share an untruth with someone else, right? So to deceive somebody, of course, some person may have the motivation to hurt or deceive or somebody, or to cause damage, harm somebody's life or character, with these falsehoods or lies, which of course is not very wholesome, and it doesn't damage only the other person, but it first and foremost damages the person who's lying, actually. So it's important, to share the truth always to the best of your knowledge, in order to maintain integrity and trust, trust, which is the basis of any relationship, any connection, and integrity as well, because without trust and integrity, it's very difficult for us to maintain any wholesome relationship, because then the ground becomes very fragile. Cracks can form very easily. Okay. So that's the first gate that we need to pass through, which is the truth. And then the second gate being necessity, which means, is what you're going to share with the other person necessary? Is it helpful to that person, the people, the group, or the situation? Is it going to add value? Is it of meaning and purpose? Or are you just sharing it, driven by your ego to prove, okay, something out of self-righteousness? So once again, the motive intention is quite important as well, or just for the the heck of it, or just to show that, okay, you know this truth. So this is where we apply the principle of do no harm, right? Once again, the intention being to be helpful than harmful, right? So always be mindful of whether what you're going to say is actually going to cause damage or help or add value to a situation. And here we need to actually take into consideration three factors: the time, like is it the right timing, or is it the right person, and is it the right context or situation? And here, I would like to give an example of, a couple of my, good mentors, long time, when I was in university. I was facing some complex situations, and one of my dear mentors, who's no more, bless her soul, she got to know about a particular truth about this other person, and although I kept asking her, she refused to share it, saying that, okay, one day I will tell you, not now. And I'm never going to learn the truth because she passed. And yeah, but I'm actually very happy that she did not reveal the truth at the time, because I know it would have hurt me. For even at the time, I was aware, and she was also trying to, like, kind of protect me. But sometimes the ego mind, like, really wants to know, right? It doesn't like the unknown, like doesn't like secrets at all. So, but looking back, I know that actually not knowing that other person's truth, then, whatever that was going on, prevented me from, on the one hand, getting even more hurt than I was in that particular situation. And it wouldn't really have done any good. Like, I was not in a position to understand it back then, but now I know it would have been just information, and it would have caused more trauma. And, not knowing it actually doesn't matter to me anymore. Like 2 decades down the line, I can, say that with a lot of confidence and assurance, right? So sometimes in life, what we believe to be truth, or what we think we need to know, actually not necessary. And yeah, if we don't get that information, it's for our highest good. Right? So she was quite discerning, very wise and mature. So she knew what was right for me at the time, and I'm very grateful for that, right? So yeah, that's just an example of how you may know the truth, but you choose not to share it because it may not be helpful, right? And moving on to the third gate, which is kindness. And to me personally, this is the most important, right? So even if it's true, and even if it's necessary, or helpful, sometimes it's not kind to share a particular truth with someone. And also, it's a lot about how you share the truth. Let's say it's truth and it's helpful, and you really need to share this truth. But sometimes, how people don't use filters when they talk. And this is such a misunderstanding, that authenticity is about just speaking whatever that comes to your mind in whichever way, whether it hurts somebody's feelings or not, or whether you're trampling on somebody's dignity or damaging somebody's entire life or profession or whatever. I'm sharing this with my own experience because I was subjected to such treatment by one person who chose to just, speak out, because her understanding of authenticity was to just say whatever, she believed to be the truth about me publicly, you know, um, which really damaged me, could have, had a lot of potential to damage my career and me even as an individual. But of course, I was really protected by the divine, because whatever she spoke was not really my truth, although it may have been her own perspective. So it didn't really harm me. However, this was a kind of a real eye-opener for me about how important it is to speak the truth with compassion, whatever you believe to be the truth, compassionately. So it's really important to be understanding and sensitive and empathetic towards the other person. Try to uplift the other person than to drag them down or put them down. For example, if you need to give them some constructive feedback or break some bad news to them, for example, if you have to fire somebody, or, whatever, sometimes we have to have these difficult conversations as well, right? And confront the other person. But it's possible to do all this with kindness, rather than being rude. And because that's the other thing, like, sometimes people mistake, confused between being assertive and aggressive. They think to be assertive means that, you have to speak in a loud voice, to emphasize, your truth or show your power, and there are so many misunderstandings about how to communicate with confidence. And to be confident doesn't mean being aggressive. Obviously, you can be confident and even firm, but with kindness and compassion, and that's also a skill, I feel, right? So because you see, communication has the power to connect or disconnect. It can really destroy relationships, or it can repair, reconnect, and reconciliate as well. So it's actually compassion that helps us do the latter. I also believe here that intention or motivation plays a huge role here in communication. So it's important to understand why you want to communicate what you want to communicate. Is it to harm somebody, or is it to heal? That's what makes the difference. So the next question is then, why is it so important to be kind and compassionate in our communication, right? So I think the answer is quite simple. Don't we all want to receive kindness? Don't we all want our loved ones and family, friends, or even strangers to be kind to us, right? Nobody wants to receive, harsh communication in any way, or unkind communication. We want to receive even the worst of information in the most soft, gentle, and kind way possible, loving way possible, right? So, and that's because it's very uplifting and healing, right? And it just makes the world a beautiful, peaceful place when we are kind and compassionate to each other, right? And kind communication plays a huge role in this. And to receive, first, we must learn to give, and become, whatever we want to receive or experience in life. So if you want to experience and receive love, you need to embody love. So it's a process of embodying. If you want to experience kindness and compassion, you need to embody and become love and compassion, right? So what do I mean by that? It's simply kind of aligning with that frequency. It's a vibrational frequency, love, compassion, kindness, or any other emotional experience, is an energetic vibration. So to become that means, like, if I want to receive and experience love in my reality, then I need to match that vibration, right? So which means I need to embody that frequency. I need to become love. I need to uh, mm, so when I become love, or when I align myself with that vibrational frequency, whatever that emits from me in terms of thoughts, words, and actions match that energy vibration. So you don't have to make any extra effort to be kind and compassionate or loving. It automatically emanates, radiates from you, because you are embodying that energetic frequency, and the words that you speak automatically carry that vibration of compassion, right? So having said all that, I would admit that it's not very straightforward all the time to ensure that you abide by these three principles of truth, necessity, and kindness. And oftentimes we are faced with dilemmas in our lives, right? It may be true, it may be necessary, and you may even know how to communicate compassionately. However, there are situations in life that makes us question as to whether I should communicate this truth or not, right? For example, a very common example is, like, let's say your friend's partner is cheating on them, and you get to know about this, and with evidence, let's say, but whether you should communicate it immediately to the friend or not may depend on so many different factors. It may not be very easy to understand, okay, is it helpful for me to communicate this right now? Should I wait? Really is circumstantial, depending on the unique circumstances of that particular situation, right? And I remember this instance a few years ago. A friend of mine, I love her very much, and she's in a different country. So for her birthday, I sent a bouquet of flowers as a surprise gift, right? And I had to go through a lot of difficulty, to get it done without her getting to know her and all of that. But because of the love that I had for her, I went out of my way to do that. And in the card, like, I didn't write my name, thinking that she would really know who sent it with, the with what I had written on the card, because she's aware of my, writing style and things like that. I assumed that she would figure it out. But ultimately, even after she received the flowers, she didn't realize that it was I who sent it. She thought it was someone else. And that really hurt me. Right? Then later, of course, I revealed to her that it's me. And then she felt really bad about it. She felt guilty. And as a result, when she was talking to me later, she chose to lie a little bit about it. Without knowing, I knew exactly what happened in the background, because I sent these flowers through one of my friends who shared everything with me. Now, this other friend who received the flowers didn't know about it, so she twisted the facts a little bit here and there to make me feel better, actually, right? And then when I found out, it hurt me even more to know that she's lying, and then later I confronted her, and she did admit it and said that it was, because she felt bad, and, it was to protect me from getting hurt. Of course, she was trying to be kind to me. So you see, she chose the third gate, of course, to be kind, but in the process, she chose to, hide the truth, to distort the facts a bit, to exaggerate, so on, because she felt it was necessary, probably, to preserve the, connection. But what it ultimately did was to actually, create some cracks in the connection, and it affected the trust. And over the years, I could see how, although certain efforts were made to repair, you know, those small cracks, it did grow, you see. I mean, one might think that's a very small incident, but this is how much it can affect a relationship, depending on, of course, so many other factors as well. I mean, relationships are complex, but in my experience, you know, integrity, trust, honesty, authenticity, you know, these are all very important. So, yeah, it's not always really, you know, straightforward or easy for us to understand when to say the truth or how to say the truth, so on and so forth. And this is why I feel that qualities like discernment, sensitivity, maturity, wisdom, and compassion together are really important for us to reach that space of groundedness and balance, you know, for us to take a very balanced approach towards a situation. And, you know, in our communication, it takes some practice, right? And of course, a lot of mindfulness. And this is the importance of, you know, practicing mindfulness in all our thoughts, words, and actions. So today, the focus was on mindful speech and how to speak with compassion. And so we approached it through or explored it through the three gates of mindful speech that Lord Buddha had taught us, which is truth, necessity, and kindness. So I think we can start with that, you know, having acknowledged that it's a bit complex. There could be certain complex situations where it may not be easy for us to discern. However, we can start with these three doors to try and establish, okay, before we speak, okay, is it true to the best of my awareness? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? And is it kind? And how can I communicate with kindness and compassion, right? So I hope this helps, that this discourse helps you as you engage in, you know, various kinds of interactions in your life where, I mean, communication is necessary in all our interactions, isn't it? So I try to be as mindful as possible, keeping these three gates in my mind constantly before I speak. I try to be as mindful as possible to discern, okay, is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind to share this truth? Right? So yeah, so I hope this helps once again. And do feel free to leave a comment on how you apply these different discourses and whatever you are learning here with me in your own life, whether it's helpful. And if you would like me to talk about certain different aspects or any issues that you may have in your life for which you might for which I may be of help, you know, through these discourses, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And please, if this had helped you in any way, click the like button. And of course, if you have not subscribed yet, please feel free to subscribe. It will help me to reach more people. And always feel free to share as well, because I'm doing this as a part of my service to just help these learnings with those of you who are on the path of, you know, self-growth and evolution and awakening and, you know, healing. So yes, as always, let us just take a moment to pause and take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and heave a sigh of relief, just releasing everything that no longer serves you and allowing everything that does to seep into your heart, mind, body, and soul, into your consciousness, and help or facilitate the expansion of your consciousness. As you breathe in and breathe out, allow the vibration of compassion to seep into your heart consciousness and radiate from there into your heart, mind, body, and soul, to each and every cell, molecule, and particle of your body and being, into your very consciousness, and through your consciousness into the oneness, to all sentient beings. Radiate this compassion from your heart to all those who need to experience this beautiful vibration, with the intention that it heals you and all others and all forms of life here on earth and in the universe. May this beautiful vibration of compassion, kindness, and unconditional love seep into each and every word that you speak and radiate through your speech into the world and into the consciousness of every living being. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, till we meet next, have a wonderful week ahead. Bye for now.